6 days away, baby. It's 6 days away from the start of the NBA Finals. You okay? It may not start in New York City, but damn it, it's going to end in the Mecca, the media capital of the world. My girl Shay ain't in the house today, but the one and only Joe Fortenbaugh's in the house. Tell me something, Joe. And my boy Big Perk is in the house as well. And y'all might look at him, and he might look a little sleepy and all of this stuff. Remember, he was supposed to be off today, but his little big bro needed him. His little big bro needed him. And I said, Perk, yo, what's up? I need you on First Take. And he said, I'll be there for you. And here he is. That's what First Takes brings to the table every morning, ladies and gentlemen. Holla.
This is game 5. Whoever wins this has the momentum to close this thing out.
This team at home, when they get rolling, they're so tough to stop.
He knows this is desperation time. He's pleading with his team, fight.
Spurs need a desperate, miraculous comeback or else they'll be playing for their lives. McCain lifting, launching, finding a three. Game number 5 to the Thunder. 1 win from a return to the finals.
Absolutely no way on earth to improve upon that open. So I'll just say hello and good morning. Welcome to First Take. I'm Joe Fortenbaugh in for Shay. Stephen A., the ray of sunshine, as you can see, is here. Big Perkins here with us today as well as we dive in on the NBA playoffs. A monster. Game 6 in San Antonio tonight. Wemby and the Spurs on the brink of elimination, while SGA and the Thunder will try to return to the finals for a second straight year to defend their title against the waiting Knicks. But first, they'll have to close out Victor Wembanyama, who is coming off the worst shooting performance of his playoff career. As we all know, is a guy who won't go down quietly. How important is it for OKC to end this series tonight, Stephen A.?
Well, it's important, but it's not fatal, because the worst case scenario is that you got a Game 7 on your home turf. And most of us have picked the Oklahoma City Thunder to win this series in 7 games. So we're anticipating that the Spurs will handle their business in Game 6 and force a Game 7. So it's one of those situations. Obviously, if they were down 3-2 instead of up 3-2, it would be a different scenario. But it's not just about the positioning that they're in terms of having a 1-game lead in the series going into Game 6. It's about how they did it. No J-Dub on the floor, no A.J. Mitchell on the floor, but still, McCain come off the bench. He's inserted in as a starter, and he gives you 20. Caruso gives you 22 along with stout defense. Hartenstein is giving you 15 rebounds and is suffocating the 7'5" alien that has invaded the NBA in a very, very good way. The bottom line is that when you consider all of those things and how the Oklahoma City Thunder looks on its home court, particularly against a San Antonio Spurs team that looks absolutely spent, at least in the case of Victor Wembanyama, you don't want a Game 7, but the worst case scenario of it being a Game 7 is something that Oklahoma City is still ill-equipped to handle. So again, it's important, but I'm not going to say it's fatal, because the worst case scenario is they go back to OKC Saturday night and they win then.
I agree 1,000% with SA. It's important, but it ain't the end of the world if they don't, because we know that OKC, once they get you back at the crib, and especially for a Game 7, history over the past 2 seasons tell us that they want that smoke, and it's hard to win in that building. But I will say this: I expect the Spurs to win. SA, you picked them to you picked OKC to win in 7. I picked OKC to win in 7. This series, especially games 4 and 5, has come down to the role players at home, right? When we saw Game 4, we saw Wemby have his moment, but we saw the others play better at home, right? We saw that with OKC in Game 5. Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein had the best game of his postseason career, in my opinion. Chet Holmgren finally woke up in the NBA in the conference finals. He finally noticed that the conference finals had started. So, again, I'm with SA on this one. I don't think this is a long discussion, long debate. You always want to try to win the game in front of you, but it's not. If OKC don't win it, it's not the end of the world. We know how loud that building is going to be rocking for Game 7, and we know those guys feed off that energy, and OKC will close them out in 7 games if they don't win Game 6.
Couple of things to bring up before we move on from this subject. Number one, I'm very disheartened that both you, Joe Fortenbaugh, and Big Perk have not complimented me on how good I'm looking this morning with this politician-like suit that I've got on here. I'm looking pretty sharp. I just want to say that. I just want to say that for myself. I'm in my bag right now this morning. I'm in my bag right now this morning. That's number one. Okay, let's get that out the way first. Number two, all right. Do 5 games in this. Don't shake your head like that, Joe. Why don't you do it? But
no, it was something else. It wasn't that. It was something else.
Do 5. I know you ain't saying, you ain't looking at me like that with some of the stuff you be wearing, Joe. Even though you look pretty damn sharp this morning. That's the Stephen A. impact right there. You're looking pretty sharp and dapper this morning, Joe Fortball. Big Perk. We'll talk about your dress code later. We'll talk about that later. Here's the deal. Do 5 games in the Western Conference Finals. The margin of victory, the total points has been just 9 points. That's the slimmest margin in 17 years since the Lakers Nuggets in 2009. So we understand that it's been that close. It gives you the impression that anything could happen in the Game 7, which we always believe anyway, but especially with these two teams and the way they go at one another. So it'd be interesting to see it. I think we're going to see a Game 7. I think so. I don't think it's going to be fatal for Oklahoma City, but I'd be remiss in neglecting the possibility that it could happen. They could get knocked off if they're not careful because San Antonio is incredibly dangerous.
Good news for OKC. Home teams in Game 7. NBA winning about 73% of the time. Bad news, and this is what happens when you spend too much time looking in the mirror, focusing on your attire, and not focusing on the debate at hand. You mentioned it earlier. The injury to Jalen Williams, the injury to A.J. Mitchell, okay? Now, if we're all picking San Antonio to win tonight, that would mean that without Mitchell and Williams, OKC would have dropped 2 of 3. And now we're extending the series to a Game 7 and saying, all right, well, we've lost 2 of 3 without Williams and A.J. Mitchell, Stephen A., but we're going to be okay in Game 7. I think there's a little bit more desperation to close this thing out tonight.
I don't feel that way. I really, really don't. I just think that, coming into Game 5, I thought that was going to be the series. And I thought that Oklahoma City was in tremendous danger, just like I thought when the series was tied 1-1 and they went into San Antonio going down 2-1 instead of being up 2-1 would be a dangerous situation. And in both instances, the reigning 2-time league MVP answered the call. I just think that there comes a point in time where we can't say enough about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's unflappable, man. He just doesn't get phased. You might double him. He might have a bad shooting night or whatever. But the bottom line is that it doesn't matter whether he's on the road, whether he's at home or whatever. He's Shea Butter, and he knows it. And he walks into an arena knowing who the hell he is and what he's going to bring to the table. On their home turf, those familiar rims, as Perk always says, as everybody always says, role players play better at home than they do on the road. We understand that. So we got to expect that some cats are going to step up. But to me, it all starts and stops with Shea Butter. And if Shea Butter shows up, chances are they're going to have their way. And nothing seems to faze this brother. Even with Stephon Castle, hounding him, defending him, causing things to be a bit more difficult for him compared to what other people are able to cause him. When it really, really counts, Shea is just like, all right, just give me the ball. Let me handle this for y'all. This is his attitude. This is what he does. And that's why when you fantasize about the possibility of OKC meeting New York, when you think about Jalen Brunson, think about every positive thing that you say about Jalen Brunson. Here's the interesting element about that. It's exactly what you say about Shea Butter. Except with Shea Butter, he's already a champion. And Jalen Brunson is aiming to capture one. That's the difference. But Shea Butter's already a champion and a 2-time league MVP. He already has it. Nothing seems to faze him. And I don't think a Game 7 back in Oklahoma City will do either.
So two things. Number one, Joe, do you have your IFB in your ear? Are your listening skills here this morning?
Yes, sir.
No, I'm asking, are your listening skills here this morning? Because I literally said that Game 4 and Game 5 was won by the role players at home. That's why I said OKC, I have no problem with them going home for Game 7, and it's not that important in my opinion. It always is cool. It's always important to try to win the game ahead of you, but it's not the end of the world. S.A., to your point, I think you're wrong. Well, I know you're wrong. That Game 5 wasn't, because that game, yeah, you are. The Game 5 wasn't won because of Shea Butter. Game 5 was won because of the others. Alex Caruso was the unsung hero in that game. Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren came to play. Remember, they got a lead and increased the lead while SGA was on the bench. While they was on the bench, that's when they went and took the lead, when Alex Caruso came into the game. So I get it, Shea Butter. You look on paper, you see the 32 points, you see the 16, I believe, for 17 from the free throw line. But the others were the ones that was balling that actually got them the lead in that game at the crib. So if I was to give anybody credit for Game 5, it would be Alex Caruso, Jared McCain, Chet Holmgren, and Isaiah Hartenstein. They were the ones held it down. I still haven't seen a SGA-type moment yet in this Western Conference.
Yeah, but it starts and stops with him. And I thought that he started things. That's number one, even though McCain and Caruso and Hartenstein definitely shined. There's no doubt about it. When we were having a discussion the other day about role players compared to SGA, I wasn't denying the fact that the role players was going to need to step up and handle their business in order for them to have a chance and beat San Antonio. I was saying it can't be Shea Butter wetting the bed and having a disappearing act. He got to show up too, which he did. That's number one. And number two, I must say, Big Perk is very, very rude. Very rude. I mean, Joe Fortenbaugh doesn't host every day. He's not hosting the show every day. And to sit up there and to ask the question, does he have his IFB in? Is he listening and stuff like that? You don't be rude to the sub-host like that. I mean, this man is taking time out of his busy schedule to host the show. And here you are in the morning going at him the wrong way. I'm very disappointed in you, Perk. I'm very disappointed.
Stephen A., to be fair, to Big Perk, my IFB only pumps you in. I actually haven't heard a word you said all morning.
That's a good strategy. That's a good strategy. That's a winning strategy. That's a winning strategy.
See what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. You somebody that like your job. You somebody that like your job. What Michael Irvin said in that Cowboys Netflix show, give me the ball. Give me the ball. You want to keep your job, don't you? Give me the ball. That's what Michael Irvin said. Smart.
All right, we're going to keep it moving here. Officiating has been a big topic of conversation